استيقظت من النوم فاجتهد أن تستيقظ قبل طلوع الفجر وليكن أول ما يجري على قلبك ولسانك ذكر الله تعالى فقل عند ذلك الحمد لله أحيانا بعد أماتنا وإليه النشور أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والعظمة والسلطان لله والعزة والقدرة لله رب العالمين أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وعلى كلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك النشور إلى آخره. So here we see Imam Ghazali rahimahullah saying that when you wake up in the morning, then you should do so before Fajr, qabla tulu' al-Fajr, at the time of suhoor, at the time of tahajjud, so that you can wake up for a few minutes and sit down and make dua and dhikr and read your salat tahajjud. So that is something that we should try to do, as it is the adab of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also what we call the da'bu salihin, the tradition of all those who are good people. They wake up early in the morning to serve their Lord, and the first thing that Imam Ghazali rahimahullah says is that Allah's name and Allah's words should be on your tongue. So you wake up with the dua, that you are in a state of dhikr and not in a state of ghafla. So when you sleep at night, you sleep with the dua and dhikr, and when you wake up with dua and dhikr. Then he gives us a set of du'as that are narrated from the ma'thurat, from the sunan of the Prophet ﷺ, and some from other pious people. So he says that you should say Alhamdulillah ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur, which is a common dua, very popular dua. In some riwayat the word alladhi is mentioned also. Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur, and so on. And that Allah is the one for whom praise is due, because He has given us life after He gave us death. Ba'da ma amata. So while we were asleep, it was as if we were dead and we were not in control of our hands and feet and our emotions, and everything was now left to the human psyche and the subconscious to generate the energy and the life with which we can now sleep very comfortably. وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورِ, it is only towards Him that our resurrection will be. And then a list of du'as that show us that the kingdom and sovereignty is for Allah. As we enter the morning, asbahna, we have come into the morning and we have seen that the kingdom and sovereignty belongs only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you see this now, this world view of a believer. When he wakes up, he says everything belongs to Allah. It does not belong to any government, any authority, to any human being, to anything else. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you wake up with the praise of Allah, and you wake up realizing, acknowledging that Allah indeed is our King, and He is our owner, and He is our ruler, and we owe Him everything. All the way up to where He says, أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام, that we have woken up on the fitrah and the disposition of Islam, وعلى كلمة الإخلاص, on the words of ikhlas, that our code is ikhlas and sincerity, وعلى دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم, on the deen, religion of Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, and upon the millah of our father Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. So all of this you can see how these du'as are formulating, carving, and shaping the mind of a Muslim. That this is what we believe in. We don't believe that we have woken up because we have to go to work, which is what we do. But you don't say that, because work is under the auspices of the country that you live in. Work is under the rule of authority and the government, and work is under all of this, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets. So we say that all of this is fine, but the true Malik is Allah. The true Malik and King is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So immediately you have a positive approach to your life. When people wake up and they're depressed, they should read this dua. Right? Why are you depressed? There's nothing to be depressed about. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله. As we wake up, the kingdom also wakes up, and that kingdom belongs to Allah. Allah is capable of doing anything and everything. So now you have this positive approach and image of your Lord, and you have a positive approach to life, and you say, this is how a Muslim believer wakes up in the morning, because he has so many other gifts along with the idea and the fact that he has woken up. As there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that every morning when a believer wakes up, he must give sadaqah for every limb and organ that wakes up with him. So in that particular hadith, the number 360 is mentioned. So the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, who from us can afford to pay sadaqah 360 times every morning? So the Prophet ﷺ said, all of you can. If you say Subhanallah, that is one sadaqah. If you say Alhamdulillah, that's another sadaqah. And if you say La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, that's another sadaqah. So here we see the Prophet of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, showing the Sahaba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want any monetary gain from you. He wants you to acknowledge that He is your Lord. And say Subhanallah. He wants you to acknowledge that He is kind to you, and you say Alhamdulillah. He wants you to acknowledge that He is greater than you, than your issues, your problems, your life, and He is Allahu Akbar. That's your sadaqah. That is your charity. So here we see Imam Ghazali rahimahullah also narrating, quoting some of these du'as that he has heard of from the, as I said, the Ma'thurat, and inspiring the believer that he should be forward-thinking, and he should not be pessimistic, and he should not be killing himself and saying, what am I going to do today? If you wake up because you want to be successful in your work in the morning and in the day, and that success doesn't come, then you'll be depressed. You'll be sad. If you wake up because you want to make wudu and offer 2 rakats salat for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then further 2 rakats, then you will not be depressed, because that's the reason why you wake up. Everything we do is geared towards Allah's ibadah. It is through the ibadah, then you go to work and you leave the house, and the adab of that also will be coming, inshallah. This is how we see this. And then the dua, Allahumma inna nas'aluka an tab'athana fi hadha al-yawm ila kulli khair. Then comes the dua for the dunya. That Allah, we ask you today that whatever we do is going to lead towards khair. وَنَعُوذُ بِكَ أَن نَجْتَرِحَ فِيهِ سُوءٍ. And we seek refuge in you from committing anything that's evil. أو نجره إلى مسلم أو يجره أحد إلينا, or that we will cause any harm or su, difficulty to a Muslim, or that any harm should come to us. Now you're asking Allah, since He is the King and He is the Lord and He is everything, that Allah, you take care of us, you take care of our needs in the world also, and so on. This is how a Muslim's mind is focused on the bigger picture. So you have the bigger picture. Then you can come into your smaller picture. But if you don't have the big picture correct, then your small picture will not be correct. I mean, what is the background? If you're able to maximize, minimize your icons on your computer screen, okay, that is only possible if the screen is there. You have to turn the screen on. If you don't turn the screen on, where there is maximize and minimize, and there's nothing there, there's no nur there. Literally. There's no light there on the screen. So you won't see anything. So what we're seeing here is that the Prophet ﷺ wanted Muslims to turn on their screen. The screen of God's kingdom. The screen of Allah's fadl. the screen of nur. That in this grand scheme of things in the cosmos and the universe, Allah is Nurus Samawati wal Ard. Allah is the nur of the heavens and the earth. Turn that switch on, then you'll see everything happens because Allah wants it to happen. So now I'm waking up because Allah wants me to wake up. But now what is my understanding why I'm waking up? Allah is the one who woke me up. So you don't say I woke up. You see the adab, the big screen being the tawheed. Asbahna. Now that's different. Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana. The first dua is Allah is the one who gave us life after we were dead. And then once the screen is on, then you can say all of this happens because Allah is in control and so on. فَإِذَا لَبِسْتَ ثِيَابَكَ فَنْوِي بِهِ امْتِثَالَ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي سَتْرِ عَوْرَتِكَ. Now when you then don your clothing, you wake up in the morning and you need to wear some proper clothing so that you can go outside or into the washroom or the bathroom, then your niyyah for wearing clothing should be that you want to fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will cost you nothing. Change your niyyah. You don't have to write a gigantic check to God and say, Jazakallah, Jazak, thank you Allah, Shukran lillah, Alhamdulillah, you have given me all these clothes. No, make the niyyah, and the niyyah is in your heart. It's instantaneous. It is less than a moment in which you make your niyyah, and you make the niyyah that I'm now obeying the command of Allah to dress. Ya bani Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سواتكم وريشا. That this is Allah's command. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instinctively driven human beings to wear clothing when they are in front of people and in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then your niyyah must be that sitri awratik, that you must cover your awrah, your private parts. It mustn't be for the sake of I have to put these clothes on very quickly and get dressed for work. No, it must be the real niyyah of why you exist, and that is to please Allah. وَاحْذُرْ أَنْ يَكُونَ قَصْدُكَ مِنْ لِبَاسِكَ مُرَاعَاةُ الْخَلْقِ فَتَخْسِرْ. And make sure that when you are dressing, your purpose must not be to show people mura'at, that you have this niyyah. I want to make a killing today. Go out and just flatten everybody with my beauty and with my style and everything else. Which is why the majority of people get dressed in the morning. They'll take time. In fact, they'll prepare from the night. Tomorrow I'm going to wear this. And then in the morning, they'll change their mind another 3 times, 4 times. Maybe not this, maybe not this. This thing doesn't go, this thing doesn't go. So that's called preening. Preening means when the birds take care of their feathers, then that's called preening. So you don't want to behave like birds, even though the Quran mentions the word rish, which is a different concept. We can talk about that later. So there should be no mura'at, no showing off, that you want to impress others with your libas and your dress. Now, that doesn't mean to say your libas should not be good looking. It doesn't mean to say your libas shouldn't be smart. It doesn't mean to say that your libas should not be something that you want to wear. It means that you should not have the desire for showmanship and upmanship, where you are going to look at others and say, I'm dressed better than you are. That's murad. As in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he said, that you should not show off and you should not reject the truth. Something to that effect. Riya and kibr. That you must stay away from riya and kibr, which is pride and arrogance. So one Sahabi said, Ya Rasulullah, which one of us can say that we don't want to look good and wear good clothing? So the Prophet ﷺ said, هذا ليس من الكبر. This is not kibr, this is not pride. الكبر غمط الناس وبطر الحق. Kibr is pride and arrogance. It is to look down on people. غمط الناس. I have this, he doesn't have this. وبطر الحق. And to disavow the truth and to override the truth wherever it is. So, here the niyyah is important for Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, that it is such a normal, impulsive act. But a Muslim is always aware. He is always in a state of dhikr. He is not in a state of ghafla. If he's in a state of ghafla, then he loses out. So Imam Ghazali rahimahullah is saying that refine your adab. That's why the word adab is very critical. That refine your process of thinking that when I'm wearing my clothing, I'm doing so because Allah wants me to wear clothing. Allah wants me to cover my private parts. Allah wants me to cover my body, and so on. And as I said, this will take you less than 1 second. And once you do that, you will be rewarded for putting your clothes on, which is a normal thing. This is Allah's fadl on this ummah, that even through your niyyah, you can be favorable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how we conclude this fasl in this section. You can see, very normal. You wake up, you're going to wake up anyway, inshallah, if Allah wants you to wake up. So why don't you just insert your niyyah and the du'as of the Prophet ﷺ when you wake up? When you wake up with these du'as, you are positive, you are upbeat, you're looking forward to the day, and it doesn't matter how gloomy, how stormy, how windy, how cold the weather is outside in Chicago. Right? You can still be happy in the morning. You know? You don't have to be miserable because the weather is miserable. You say, Alhamdulillah. This is how you generate the energy from within, and you become a very positive person and very optimistic person. Then the second thing, as you wake up, is that your need and urge to use the washroom, again, is impulsive, it is instinctive. You're going to do that anyway. So that here now he says, this is a subsection, Bab Adabu Dukhul al-Khala. These are the adab, the refined etiquettes of entering the khala. Khala meaning Baytul Khala, the washroom, and so on. Because in those days, and also today, many places, many countries in the world, you go outside the house to fulfill and answer the call of nature. That's how people usually lived. And some still live this way, so that's why it's called khala, outside, in the wilderness. فإذا قصدت بيت الماء لقضاء الحاجة. When you want to go towards the Baytul Ma, which is the closet, the WC, the water closet. You say this is WC. Everybody say this is WC. What does WC mean? What the heck is WC? Right? WC means water closet. So there in the Wilayah, in Britain, they would not have their toilets inside the house. You had to go outside the house. And outside the house, they have some water, and it was built literally like a closet. So they called it water closets. Right? What does Imam Ghazali say here? Baytul Ma'i. Literally the same thing. The house of water, or water closets. Right? So Imam Ghazali rahmallah is saying that this is something that you're going to do anyway. You are invariably going to use the washroom. فَقَدِّمْ فِي الدُّخُولِ رِجْلَكَ الْيُسْرَى. Then follow the adab of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ التَّيَامُنَ فِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the idea that you start from the right and you seek barakah from the right in everything. حَتَّى التَّرَجُّلِ, and so on. Even when you're combing your beard, and even when you're putting on your shoes, then you must start from the right when it is a good act. And when it's not such a good act, then you use your left. So the right is for acts that will induce barakah, and when the act is not conducive for barakah, then use your left. So the washroom and the Baytul Ma, the WC, is not a place where you want to spend too much time. Hopefully. Then you turn on the music and you read your Fortune 500 magazine on the toilet bowl. That's where the money belongs, I guess. Right? That's why you read that stuff there. It belongs there. But you can't, and that is makruh. It is against the adab. You can't receive any knowledge where? In the toilet. The radio gives you knowledge. Right? The book and the magazine gives you knowledge. You can't have knowledge where the knowledge doesn't exist. If not, if you do that, then you might become slightly lost and wayward in your life. You don't know what is the adab, what is the civilizational code of what you do in the bathroom and what you do not do in the bathroom. So Imam Ghazali, as he might speak about this also. You start by putting your left foot, now you have to be aware, you have to be conscious. Okay? All of this, the Muslim's life is first, it is case sensitive. Right? Once you train yourself in such a way that it becomes second nature, it will never leave you. So if you're not already doing this, then next time you go to the washroom, stop. So which foot are you using? Use your left foot, because that's the sunnah. If you're not already there. If you are there, then it's natural. It is second nature. You're going to do this anyway from the age of 7, from the age of 10, from the age of whenever somebody told you, when you use the washroom, go with the left foot first. It becomes second nature. But that is the adab of Islam, the adab of Muslims, that even in this act we observe the might and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفِي الْخُرُوجِ رِجْلَكَ الْيُمْنَى, and when you leave, then it is your right foot that should leave first. Like in the masjid, your right foot should be first when you come in, and your left foot when you leave. So, because leaving the masjid is not seen as something that's necessarily going to be conducive to barakah. So you leave with your left foot and you enter with your right foot. Now some people say this is now hair splitting. This is too meticulous. There's too much detail. We say that nowadays, unfortunately, through science and technology, everything is sensitive. Right? God forbid there's something wrong in the chip in your car. One algorithm is this way and that way, there goes your car, brother. Everything is so sensitive. Everything, because it's computerized, everything is sensitive. Likewise, a Muslim's life was regulated by these adab, case-sensitive issues, and the Sahaba observed them, and that's why they were at the height of the Muslim civilization. وَلَا يَسْتَصْحِبُ شَيْئًا عَلَيْهِ اسْمُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى وَرَسُولِهِ. Imam Ghazali mentioned, as I said, that you should not have anything that has Allah's name on it, nor the Rasul's name on it. Meaning that Allah and His Rasul, they should not be mentioned where? They should not be mentioned. And they should not be mentioned in the bathroom, in the khala, so that you observe the adab. This is the respect we give to Allah and His Rasul, and in knowledge in general. We don't take books into the bathroom, as I said. There are so many stories of the awliya of Allah who had so much adab. In one case, we won't mention all the stories. In one case, there's a great wali of Allah, Shaikh Mujaddid al-Fithani, rahimahullah, Sarhindi. So one day he went out for the khala. Then afterwards, his students observed that he came out and he started washing, his finger, his shahada finger. And then he went back in. He went back in. So afterwards, the students asked him, Hazrat, Shaykh, you went and you came back and you started washing your finger. What was the point of that? In those days, they didn't care that students asked these questions. Because they said the students learn from observation, the adab. So he said that I had been writing with my fountain pen, my quill, and the ink came onto my finger. And I said that I can't take ink which is used for writing knowledge into the bathroom. That's how you become Mujaddid al-Fithani. You don't become a great wali of Allah because you don't care. Chalega, mashi, who cares? La ubali, ghafla upon ghafla. No, be observant and be sensitive. Be in a state of dhikr, where I'm aware of everything I'm doing. So even that drop of ink on his finger, he did not tolerate. This is knowledge. This is a means by which I'm going to write knowledge. I'm not taking that inside. It doesn't belong there. Likewise, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah says that nothing upon which Allah and His Rasul's name is there should accompany you there, and so on. وقل عند الدخول بسم الله أعوذ بالله من الرجس النجس الخبيث المخبث الشيطان الرجيم. There are other du'as that obviously most of you know. Allah minni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal-khaba'ith. That in the bayt of Khala, the water closet where you answer the call of nature, okay, the angels do not enter with you, because that is not a pure place. Angels only enter where there's purity and tahara, there's impurity and najasa there. So who then lives there? The khabith and the khaba'ith, the khubth and the khaba'ith, okay, the filth and the filthy beings. They live there. So you want to seek refuge in Allah from those beings there and from the filth that is there. When you seek Allah's protection from the shaitan al-rajim, Allah will protect you. And that's why you make the dua. And many unfortunate diseases arise because people do not realize this fact. Okay? They don't want to live with you in the house, they live there in the toilet, in the bathroom. So you say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika. Allah, I seek refuge in you. Because Allah is the only one who can help you there. Allah is watching, observing there too. And the angels don't come with you. And if the angels of Rahmah are there, they will not be able to help you because they won't enter except those that are assigned to you already from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is another adab of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that you want to make sure that you are protected even there from any other alien influence and external forces that could harm you as you are in that position. وَعِنْدَ الْخُرُوجِ غُفْرَانَكَ. And when you come out, then you must say غُفْرَانَكَ. Allah, this is your maghfirah, this is your pardoning, this is your forgiving. Meaning this is a place where something could have happened to me, but it did not happen because you have forgiven me. غُفْرَانَكَ. The awareness and the alertness of a believer, it is tremendous. And then you thank Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi adhaba anni ma yu'dhini wa abqa ma fi ma yanfa'uni. Alhamdulillah alladhi afani. Ghufranika. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you all praise is due to Allah because you have relieved me from that which hurts me. If God forbid, as we all know, if there's a time when we are not able to pass water and urinate, it is very, very painful. God forbid, if someone has constipation, he's not able to go, very, very painful. So you thank Allah for that process. Now, the body does what it does, but you thank Allah. And then you say, this is what we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even there, even when we are in a place where we are supposed to relieve ourselves and to make sure that we wash ourselves, etc., we are going to thank Allah. So all praise is due to Allah in every hal, every condition that we have. Yeah. And this is how we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl on this ummah, that this ummah took all the adab of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and so on. Then he goes into how we should behave in the desert, in the wilderness, in the jungle, in the forest, and so on. That really doesn't apply to us that much today. But if there was, then you can imagine how we should behave there also. Yeah. Here we see another thing that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, that the Islamic adab, they are not just based on the dunya, they're based on the akhirah also. So you have some adab that are based on only the dunya, and most adab are based on the akhirah. So the Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba what he said about the urine. Istanzahu min al-bawl, fa inna ammat al-adab minhu. And in one hadith, وَإِنَّ عَامَّةَ الْوِسْوَاسِ مِنْهُ. That most of the punishment in the grave is because people are not careful when they urinate. and all the urine that comes, that splashes onto the clothing, onto the body, that creates its own set of issues, psychological. And then, as the Prophet ﷺ said, there's a devil just for that. And then the devil comes and he insinuates and he tells you when you're making wudu that you haven't done wudu. That comes from not observing the rules of the bathroom. So he linked this with that. Right? If you understand psychology. So here the Prophet ﷺ said that wiswas, insinuation from the devil, comes because people don't use the washroom properly. They don't observe the rules of making sure there's no backing of the drops onto you, onto your clothing, and they don't splatter all over you and so on. That is why in our civilization we make sure that first and foremost the urine comes out totally, and you wait. You have to wait so that the last drop comes out. If you don't wait and there's still some urine left there, then you'll be in trouble, not only medically, but also from this way, where the waswas, the insinuations, these negative thoughts, and everything that goes to OCDC. Right? You know, OCDC, you're always checking and checking and checking. Well, as you know, in the community, Allah save us all, protect us all. It's a common disease, unfortunately, where you don't believe you've made your wudu properly. So you make it again, and then you make it again, and then you make it again, to the degree where some people spend half an hour just making their wudu, and by that time the sun has risen, and by that time you miss the bus, and by that time the taxi is gone. So now the devil comes and he interferes with your life and your lifestyle by forcing you to do things that is going to hurt you. So you don't do that. See, stay with the program. The program is urine is filth. It is najas. It is impure. It should not be on your body. It should not be on your clothing. And if you stay with that, then you will be pure and you will not be afflicted by the waswas, the whispers of the devil, and you won't have these crazy thoughts in the morning or whenever you go to the bathroom. So the idea is to go in and come out as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and so on. This is now, as I said, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired this ummah through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then finally Imam Ghazali says, after mentioning a few more things, he says, بَقُلْ عِنْدَ الْفَرَاغِ مِنَ الْإِسْتِنْجَاءِ اللَّهُمَّ طَهِّرْ قَلْبِي مِنَ النِّفَاقِ. This is a dua from the Ma'thurat, not necessarily from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but it is very Islamic and it's very useful, and some people may say it's also reported from the Prophet ﷺ also, that as you finish, then when you come out you must say, Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-nifaq. Allah, purify my heart from nifaq and hypocrisy. And that is how you observe the rules and the adab of the khala and all of this that Imam Ghazali has mentioned. This one thing. وَحَصِّنْ فَرْجِي مِنَ الْفَوَاحِشِ, and protect my farj, my private part, from anything that is haram. حَصِّنْ فَرْجِي. Now I've visited the khala, you've given me relief from everything that hurts me. Now you must purify my heart from hypocrisy and my private parts from fawahish, from immorality. طهر قلبي من النفاق وحسن فرجي من الفواحش. And this is how we see that all of this is related. Right. Nifaq and fawahish, they're related. What is nifaq? Hypocrisy. You say you believe, but when you are alone, you don't believe. Right? When you're in a private place, in a bedroom, or when you feel that no one's looking, then you go into these ideas of fawahish. So here, this dua of the Sunnah is saying that there's a relationship between behaving in private and nifaq, hypocrisy. Because with people you will behave this way, and when you're alone you behave a different way. So here the idea is that you're not alone. Allah is there. Allah is watching. So you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing the believer that this is, if you believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you observe these adab, you will become a healthier person. Health starts where? From the bathroom. We haven't even reached wudu yet. And the Muslim is already healthy. Right? So the health starts where? By observing the rules of the khala. And once the Sahaba understood this, they believed the Prophet ﷺ was their father, as Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu, when he was approached by a certain Jew. He said, "You are so bereft that your Prophet had to teach you this." Bereft means you don't have a father and you don't have any parents, and your Prophet had to teach you. So Salman said, "Yes, we are fortunate we have a father, and we are fortunate that our father taught us everything. Who else is going to teach you this other than your parents?" So the Nabi al-Rahmah teaches everything, and teaches everything to everybody. That if you want a healthy society, make sure you know how to behave in an impure environment. What is impure? The Bayt al-Khala. What is impure? The environment around us. How do you behave in an impure environment? You learn from the adab of Khala. How do you behave in a mall? Right, where there's only filth and temptations and everything else. Okay, so we must believe that the way we observe the khala, the bathroom, it should be the way we should observe the mall and the bazaar, the souk, as with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, is the most despised place on earth, right? And the most beloved place on earth is the masjid, and the most despised is the souk, the malls. So how much time should you spend in the malls? As much time as you spend in the bathroom. Right? You see the connection? Yeah. So once you understand the adab of the khala, you'll understand the adab of the souk. What happens in the khala? Fuhush. You're exposed, you're somewhat naked, and you are in filth. What happens in the souk and the bazaar? You are exposed, there's filth, there's shouting, there's gali galoch, there's swearing, there's cursing, there's cheating, there's deceiving. You understand? Yeah. So now the khala and the mall, they go hand in hand. So the Sahaba would say that if you go into a souk, you must go there, make some dua and dhikr, then come back out. Right? You understand the psyche of the Sahaba? You go for your needs, it's a haja. Qada'ul haja. This fuss is about qada'ul haja. Fulfilling your need. So you have a need to go to the washroom, fulfill the need and come out. You have a need to go to the souk and the bazaar, fulfill your need and come out. Don't stay there as if you're going to camp there for the next 6 hours and you're going to enjoy every moment, because that's like enjoying your 6 hours in the bathroom, which unfortunately people do. They spend time and minutes and hours in the bathroom sometimes. It's a culture. So we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and save us from filth and places of filth, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from the knowledge of this author Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, and every other person who has written for the sake of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to observe all the adab of life from head to toe throughout our lives. Amin ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayr khalqi Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bi rahmatika ya Allah.